Thank you very much, and thank you very much for this invitation. Actually, if I'm here, it's not about my past that you mentioned, but rather my actual position here in India, where I am counselor for the digital field. And I've been working for 3 years on the links between India and EU on collaboration in the digital sector. And that's why I was absolutely thrilled by your invitation, because when I received your book and you mentioned what you were doing, I was first, I would say, overwhelmed by the size of the work and the book. But then after, going through it, I could see how relevant it is and how relevant it is for me to explain why it matters so much for EU-India relations. Artificial intelligence is indeed a topic of importance going to shape not only our societies, but the world itself. And we are going to define now the world that we want, that will be using this artificial intelligence. So I can go further and explain you why it matters so much for the EU-India relations to work on this topic. I would just finish my introductory remarks by saying that when our president of the European Commission was elected, she received a message from Prime Minister Modi where he was explaining his expectation to collaborate on many fields with the EU, but he mentioned 2 specific fields. One of them was artificial intelligence. That's just to show you that at a very high level, there is a full understanding of the meaning of this topic. Thank you. This is really a nice piece that you've produced. And it's not only because it shows, how pervasive artificial intelligence is, but it's also a very interesting book. I said that I'm not from a legal background, and when I saw, this piece that you've produced, I said, oh my God, how will I go through this huge, piece of work? And actually, I found it very interesting, and I can understand that you enjoy writing it, because I did enjoy reading it and flicking through it, actually, because it's not only showing where we are on the different fields and aspects, but it also opens your curiosity. You learn from history, but you see also all the different aspects of artificial intelligence in the different topics, and that is quite interesting. So that's why I was very happy to come and join this release of the book. I'm very happy to support it. What I would like to say regarding the EU and India relation within the artificial intelligence, if you allow me, is just to say that, yes, you've taken, the artificial intelligence in many of its aspects as it is now. And I'm afraid to say that you will have much more work for the months and years to come. Only at the EU level, we are about to release a legislative proposal next month on artificial intelligence. And I think it will be quite a landmark as well. And it will find its place in your updated edition. But that's the point. Artificial intelligence is moving very fast, and it's very difficult, even for the lawyers to follow the pace and to frame it. So actually, there is a race to be sure that we frame it because artificial intelligence is going to frame our societies, as we said. Regarding artificial intelligence, I would say that in simplifying, you need 3 elements to have artificial intelligence working. One is that you need data, because that is about data processing. So you need this data. Then you need the algorithm that are going to process data. And you need the technology which is going to run the algorithm, the high performance computing, the transfer and of data, the storage place. And we collaborate with India on the 3 elements. But regarding what we're discussing tonight, I would focus very much on certain elements which are linked to this legal framework, which is here to deliver some hints on the values that we want to protect. One is related to data. You mentioned GDPR, you mentioned PDPB. That's trust. I mean, it's absolutely essential for the uptake of artificial intelligence that there is trust. And this trust, I mean, is generated by ensuring that you have privacy, transparency, and also security. And we're working, I mean, on these three topics. Regarding artificial intelligence itself on the algorithm part, we have a common and convergence of views between India and the EU and other nations as well, that we want to defend core values. And that's what we call this ethic, trustworthy artificial intelligence. And that needs to be defined very, very early. I mean, we're even talking about ethics by design, and we need to define that into more practical elements that the people working in AI, I mean, can integrate from the conception of it, because there are some elements that are needed absolutely according to our views. And it has been published, I mean, elements such as human oversight, the aspect of transparency, again, fairness, non-discriminatory, explainability, and also to have safety aspects. I mean, liability, I mean, to be sure that you're protecting against unintended effects, malicious attempts, and all that would have a declination into legislation and framework. Regarding also this, another aspect that you may not have seen as prevalent, but which would more and more be in artificial intelligence, in access to data. We are talking about personal data, but also non-personal data. How do you ensure, how do you promote the availability of data? And that has to do with data ownership, but data sharing. How do you ensure that there is a fair sharing and that you have a fair society where ownership is not only in the hands of the government or a very few powerful oligopoly, but that you have a system which will generate and foster innovation and competition in the market. And all these values, because they are values, they are shared between EU and India. And that is why we have a momentum in collaboration in all these aspects, I mean, between our two blocks, to a point that last year, Prime Minister Modi and President of the Commission von der Leyen agreed that we would set up an AI expert group who is going to work on defining how these values are translated into the framework that we would like, I mean, to be adopted at the international level. And there are a number of international fora. You may have seen that it has been already discussed within the G7, within the G20 from 2019. I mean, there were some outputs already, and a decision to create the JPI, so the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, to which India is founding member, the EU as well, and working with the OECD as secretariat. The idea is to work on defining what will be this ethical artificial intelligence, because that's the way that the world will be shaped in the very near future, because things are going very, very fast. Thank you again. I mean, thank you very much for this possibility of exchange. I would just close one word that was said several times, and I think it's an essential one. It's awareness. Awareness of the people is absolutely essential. If people do not realize what is happening, do not put pressure on their government, that will be very difficult to defend the right of humanity. And I mean, that's a big word, but it is true. We are living in an international world. We need to give the right direction, and that is with the awareness of us all as active citizens. And that's why your work is absolutely pivotal in that sense. So once again, congratulations, and I hope that there will be an extended diffusion on your piece of work. Thank you.